Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. It is happy Cinco de Mayo. Okay. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone. I hope everyone's week is going well thus far. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I'll give people a second to get on in here. I hope your weekend was great. I know here it was a little chilly outside, which was really alarming. I'm like, spring, fight back. Like, spring, where you at? Like, spring, come on now. Give me a little something. Tussle a little bit. Do a little something, something. You know what I'm saying? But it has been really chilly. I think it was like 40 degrees the other morning. So it was really chilly the other morning. I think that was like Sunday morning, I believe. Good morning to everybody. Hey, Bookie. Hey, Coyotes. Good morning to everybody coming in. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe. We've got a pretty jam-packed show today. Finals are done. Thank God. Finals are done. And I'm only waiting on two finals to be graded. And really, regardless of what I make on those two finals, I'll have an A in those classes. So I'm not really worried about that. That 10-page paper was really the one I was worried about the most, but we got through it. We pushed through it. For sure, for sure. So I am happy about that. I hope you guys had a great weekend. A good Monday, but happy Cinco de Mayo. And who I don't want to see in any Mexican restaurant, at any food truck, anything like that, anybody that has supported any ICE initiatives should not be going into any Mexican establishment and celebrating Cinco de Mayo. I don't want to see not one Republican celebrating Cinco de Mayo today. Not a one. Not a one. You love to eat off of each other's culture, but you don't know how to respect it. So we don't want to see not one person. Okay. Not a one. But let's get into it today. Welcome to Politics in Plain English, where we talk about current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means. So as you can see, we're talking about the Iran war, gas prices, and MAGA is in panic mode. Those are the three things that we are going to talk about today. If you did not watch yesterday, the Met Gala was yesterday. The Met Gala was yesterday, and boy, was it a sight. Our beloved Beyonce made her appearance back on the red carpet yesterday, and it was a stunning look. If I might say so myself, it was absolutely beautiful. And if a lot of people don't understand what it was actually the skeleton of a female's body. It was actually the skeleton of a female's body. It was absolutely beautiful. Good morning, Glow Glow. Hey, Penny Proud. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was done by Olivier. Olivier used to he used to be the designer for Balmain. Okay. Used to be a designer for Balmain. And as you see here, I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger, see if I can. As you can see here, you can see actually the woman's ovaries and uterus, the way that it's shaped. So it was very well thought out. We also know that this is prime for what we know is Rock B, because she is preparing the third installment of the Renaissance Act 1, 2, and 3. So this is very on par for that. Absolutely stunning. Blue Ivy, absolutely stunning. There was an interview that she did. Well, just a snippet. They asked her what was a theme tonight as her husband, Jay-Z, and Blue Ivy were to the right of her. She said family, and Jay-Z then said it's always family. And then Rihanna graced the stage as well. We love us a good Riri. We love Riri down. She wasn't pregnant this time. At least we don't think so, because she definitely was talking about partying. She was the second look of the night. I mean, girl ate down too. Beautiful. Good morning, Taylor May. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And she said they asked her, and she put to bed all of those rumors about her and Beyonce, and I guess this feud that social media has loved to place upon them. They asked her, well, what are you doing after the Met? She was like, I'm going to the Beyonce and Jay-Z party. It's like the only party to be at. Like, are you okay? And then she did that little chuckle. Are you serious? Where else would I be? Okay. Who we did not see Nicki Minaj, but we do know that Nicki Minaj is fighting that old husband there. Thank you, Taylor Made. I am wearing my hair curly for a while now. I am going to do that. This is going to be my summer look. I'm trying to grow my hair to my waist. So my hairdresser said the best thing to do is to leave your hair alone when you're trying to grow it. Just to leave it alone. Don't try to manipulate it anyway. Just to leave it alone. So I'm washing and going. But anyway, thank you so much. Rihanna looked fabulous. She looked good. She looked great. She looked happy. She was beaming with love from ASAP Rocky. And I do love them together, and I get their dynamic. A lot of people don't get their dynamic. I get their dynamic. I very much so get their dynamic. But I will say Black excellence was on display last night, because those girls did not play. Okay, they did not play. They were beat down to the guards. They ate. Sierra and Russell Wilson looked fantastic last night. She did Nefertiti. I am just saying, there was another person that was my favorite. I can't think of her name off the top, but she had an all black and they bronzed her whole skin. Beautiful. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Tiana Taylor understood the assignment. So 8 down. And guys, the reason why is the middle finger, because in sign language, that is 8. 8 down, 8 down, 8 down. Okay. Just loved it. I did not care for Kim Kardashian. I never really care for her look because it's more of the same. I'm just not a fan, really. Hey, Brown Sugar. I absolutely like our Black women 8 down last night. Lala looks stunning. And baby, when Beyonce came through, they moved that thing like the Red. Move, 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 move. They parted that thing like the Red Sea. And they ushered her right on up. Let me show y'all a clip of this. I said, oh, okay, baby. When I say they moved, when I tell you, they parted that bad boy like the Red Sea. Okay, and me. Like, she's Queen Bee. She has earned that right. Okay, she has earned the right. Okay, to like have this level of response. I'm trying to see if I can find a quick clip of when she came in. And baby, the crowd went crazy. They were like, you could tell she was coming up, because hunty, that all of those reporters and everything just lost their minds. Okay, they literally lost their minds. I know Pharrell was spotted outside as well. I don't think I can find that exact clip that I'm looking for. Pardon me, y'all. I was trying to find the exact clip when she pulled up and baby, they cleared for the queen. Okay. When I say they cleared for the queen, they cleared for the queen. But anywho, shall they do acknowledge these celebrities more than they acknowledge Jesus? That ain't a lie. That ain't a lie. Okay. That ain't a lie, child. That ain't a lie, child. But she was beautiful. She was stunning. She was poised. Blue Ivy is the moment. She is ready for the moment. And they just look great. They just really look great. And one thing I did love about hey T, one thing I did love about where am I going? About Blue Ivy's look was she still looked like a 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying? I can really appreciate that. Like, look at her here. She looked like a 14-year-old. Spot on, class personified. She looked like a 14-year-old, wasn't overly done. It was perfect. It was spot on. It was just enough. They put a cute jacket on it to add the spice to it. You know what I'm saying? She had her shades on. She had a appropriate heel height on. The fluff of the dress gave it that innocence. You know what I'm saying? They are doing a masterclass on what to do with the celebrity child. They really are, and I can appreciate that. She looks her age, her braids, just everything was chef's kiss, and more chef's kiss. But enough about that. Let's get into some get-in, okay? So first things first, one thing that we touch all the time. What do we touch on, y'all, all the time? Gas prices. Gas prices are still through the roof, okay? They actually jumped 30 cents in 1 week. And if you look at this map here, it tells you the average rate of what gas is. And look over to the West Coast. West Coast is $6. The national average is $4.48. So we might as well say $4.50. Okay. Even that southern part, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, their gas is over $4. Okay. You've got that North Carolina area. This morning we woke up, regular was now $4.19. In some places I've seen $4.20 something, and that's for regular. This is just for regular gas we're looking at. If you look in the northern part, you have gas is almost $5 here. So this is breaking the bank. I don't care how much money that you make, you're going to feel the difference in gas at this point, because gas is going to drive the cost of everything. Okay. It is going to drive the cost of everything. My coffee is even more expensive. You're going to see your daily good, like beauty items, be more expensive, because what? They have to, in order to get these things in your stores, they're on trucks, and trucks use what? Gas. They have to offset that cost somewhere. Okay. And then we have Trump talking about he's about to add more tariffs because he's upset with Europe and China, and then because they won't help him with his choice war. So he's being the petulant child that we know him to be. And he's upset. He's mad. So he's going to add even more tariffs, as if that is going to help the little struggling poll numbers. Okay. And speaking of the gas problem, It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Okay. Let's put your lighters up in the air. Put your phone lights up in the air. Let's have a moment of silence for the 13,000 people that were employed by Spirit Airlines. Let's, take a moment of silence for all of those passengers who had purchased flights through Spirit Airlines and were stranded, or they woke up in the morning to an email before they left their home to go to the airport, to simply not go to the airport. Okay. Simply not go to the airport. Now, I have never flown Spirit Airlines, okay, because my dad used to always tell me, don't you fly no tin can with wings. Don't you fly no tin can with wings. But Spirit Airline had to file for bankruptcy. I believe this was their second time. And in their letter, their statement, it says that the cost of jet fuel was also aiding to this, that they could not keep their head above water. So it is what it is. Trump was going to give them some sort of bailout, but I'm sure it had some egregious clause in there. So I probably wouldn't have took it either. We also know that JetBlue is having issues. And mind you, I used to be an avid JetBlue flyer, especially flying out of New York. JetBlue is have really nice airplanes, was the first to really have TVs all over everybody and the extra wide seats with the extra snacks and things. I have flown JetBlue several times. JetBlue's terminal at JFK is absolutely beautiful. They're having issues. Delta yesterday grounded hundreds of flights because they're just not full. And they're not going to waste their jet fuel on half-empty planes. So they had to ground it, and people were scrambling to figure out how to, and the airlines was also scrambling because when they cancel something, they've got to provide a solution for those ticket purchasers, those ticket holders, that is. You know what I'm saying? So the airlines are struggling. We know that people can't afford to really fly right now. And is it really safe to fly, knowing that knowing that Donald Trump is hiring gamers to be air traffic controllers? That's what he said. They put it out on LinkedIn, Indeed, and Monster.com, that if you are good at gaming, you sitting right there. If you are really good at gaming, you could get your shot at an air traffic controller job. Okay. That's what they said. And I was like, my God, today. Okay. My God, today. So we're just dealing with a whirlwind of stuff. You understand? We're really dealing with a whirlwind of stuff. And what we're also dealing with college students revolting, standing up, protesting, making their voices heard. Exhibit A, okay? Exhibit A, South Carolina State University, which is an HBCU. Not the University of South Carolina where Dawn Staley coaches, but South Carolina State University. I'm not sure what was going on in the president's head. Whatever graduation committee is responsible for picking the commencement speaker. Okay. I'm not really sure who's responsible for that, but we need to call you to the front immediately, because for the 2026 graduation commencement, they were going to have this Karen. Okay. This Karen, the Lieutenant Governor Evans. This Karen right here. This Karen. All right. Everybody point out the Karen. Okay. Say it with me. She's a Karen. This is someone who has lied, pushed the Trump propaganda, the MAGA. She's a MAGA sycophant. Okay. She is on board with Lizzie Graham. We know Lizzie Graham, honey. But she was supposed to do the commencement speech at South Carolina State University. And the student body said, oh, no, no, no. Oh, absolutely not. The student body said, and they articulated it so beautiful. They said, how is it that someone that does not align with our values and doing everything they can to dismantle our rights, you guys have to come here to give us a commencement speech on the day that we're celebrating our accomplishments? When this lady has aligned herself with administration that does not celebrate Black excellence. You understand? You see the problem here? They do not celebrate Black excellence. So this is a big problem. So the students marched. So they found out, I think it was like around 3 p.m. they found out she was going to be the commencement speaker. And at 5 a.m. they organized and they strategized and they marched. They protest. They sat in the actual chancellor of the university. They sat in his office for hours upon hours, and each person had the opportunity to speak. And so kudos to those students. And this is why it's important, because now they have rescinded her invitation to be the commencement speaker. And now South Carolina being South Carolina, now they talking about they're going to withhold some of their federal funding. That ain't going to stand. That ain't going to hold. They're going to take that to the federal court, and that ain't going to stand. Right, Chaos. South Carolina State wasn't having it. And this is why I say it's important to send your children to HBCUs, because of this reason right here. They can choose the narrative. They can control the narrative, right? They can't be silenced because they are the majority there, right? And also, have you guys heard of Winthrop University? Well, Winthrop University is also in South Carolina, and they're finding themselves in a pickle too. And see, what is happening is we're having whistleblowers and people release footages and text messages and voicemails and recordings and emails as to how racist these professors, these counselors, how racist some of these administration officers really are. Okay, so I just want you guys to take a listen to what has been going on down in Winthrop. Okay, it is a great school, but it's a PWI, and they've got a shit show on their hands right now. When I say a shit show, baby, they got a shit show on their hands at this very moment. So we're going to take a listen to this really quickly. Hold on, let me refresh.
Than we could have believed at Winthrop University, as new reporting reveals more toxic behavior in the workplace, as uncovered by reporter and Winthrop alum Rachel Richardson. Neil Miller, a former Winthrop employee, allegedly said to Tammy that his wife, who is Black, lets him say money, which Tammy Phillips allegedly thought was just hilarious. And new audio suggests that there was more concern from the VP of HR at that time, Lisa Coward, that Tammy Phillips felt betrayed by being outed for using racial slurs than actually correcting the behavior. Listen.
She was surprised that you made the complaint. She thought you were friends.
We are, but that has nothing to do with somebody saying something that they said.
She talked about, just like friends have, talking, using freedom or whatever.
That's not okay.
No, but she talked about, how you would refer to your daughter's boyfriend as little Negro boys.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Okay, well then.
That's a bold-faced lie.
I'm not gonna come back. I mean, and this is why I'm not coming back.
That is a bold-faced lie.
This is why I'm not going to get into he said what she said or whatever.
It's not
We
easy.
have concluded our investigation.
I'm sure we have. I'm sure it was swept under the rug.
No, it was not.
I'm sure it was. But that's okay.
Amy, I'm being honest with you.
There's no way that somebody gets to use that language and it's okay.
Not only that, the new VP of HR, Beverly Gillum, allegedly references Winthrop's settlement offers to Amy Bailey and the continued effort to silence her, citing a conversation she'd had with Nicole Jasari over allegations of starting a rumor that she was having an affair with Todd Hagen.
This was about the settlement that you were offered and you told them you turned it down. And you also said by the time you leave Winthrop, they were going to be calling you Dr. Amy.
That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true.
So because you had that conversation with Nicole after I asked you not to have a conversation because it creates too much tension on campus.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
You are kidding me.
No, it does. It creates too much tension on campus.
Okay, I was
So I am noting that you did have that conversation
with Nicole. I sure did.
with Nicole, and I have her name listed in here.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is going in your, this whole letter is going in your personnel file.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
The settlement offers allegedly began at $5,000 and increased to six figures, which Amy and Todd claimed would coincide with no change in behavior, practice, or university policy to prevent racism at the school. So they rejected those. Things are worse than we could have believed at Winthrop University, as new reporting revealed.
Baby, they messy. They real messy over there. They are messy at Winthrop, okay? A 6-figure check. Baby, they are so messy. And calling the girl's boyfriend a Negro child and saying that it's okay to say Nigger, nigger. Baby, listen. When I tell you it's getting hot and heavy with these universities, it's getting hot and heavy with these universities, okay? It is getting real hot and heavy with these universities. Meanwhile, they want to audit the illustrious, the amazing North Carolina Agricultural and Technical University, talking about that X, Y, and Z funds went to grants and scholarships went to those that are, you know, relatives of working people. Honey, PWIs do it all the time. PWIs, them folks had people taking their LSATs, their SATs, writing their personal statements and things like that. Y'all remember, what's her name? Loeffner got caught up in that ring. They had her daughter, they paid somebody to take her daughter's SAT so she could get 1,400 scores so she can get her ass up in Harvard. Chill, please. Don't come for our HBCUs, but y'all see what's going on. Y'all better be careful where y'all sending y'all cheering to. Where y'all sending y'all cheering to. Y'all better be careful, okay? Like, can't bother. Y'all better be real careful at where y'all sending y'all cheering to. Because, and no, it's not surprising because it is South Carolina. Like, it's just not surprising. It's really not surprising. Like, and I hope that, you know, people that have seen this and maybe have other options or avenues, use those remedies to show them, listen, if you guys are employing these type of people, we're not going to bring our children here. You're not going to get the federal dollars for minority children to be at these universities. And you also know that Winthrop is also under fire because that same lady said that she was actively moving to decrease Pell Grant funding and also to decrease Black students being accepted to that school. So they just got a multitude of messy things that's going on over there. Okay. It's just messiness that's going on over there. And listen, since we talking about messiness, baby, let me tell y'all something. Do y'all remember this? let's get into some mess, okay? Do y'all remember this right here? Give me 2 seconds. Tell me if y'all remember this. Tell me if y'all know who this is. You see the year, it says 2020, right? Mm-hmm.
This guy right here is great. Standing up in there in the mucky swamp. Diane always has him in the mucky swamp. Yeah. But this guy right here is great. Standing up in there in the mucky swamp. Diane.
As she is groping a cardboard cutout of Donald Trump. Y'all know who this is, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is when she was super MAGA, okay? She was super pseudo MAGA, right? This is Marjorie Taylor Greene right here, groping a cardboard cutout of he's the best, he's the greatest, he's the greatest. And this is why we cannot be so quick to open our arms to some of these people. We cannot be so quick to say, oh, come on in, come hither, come hither. We cannot be so quick to do that, right? Look at her, just look at her. They all the same. She's groping the cardboard cutout, right? She's groping a cardboard cutout. So I'm glad you guys remember this, because then this is where we are now with her. But I'm so reluctant to buy in to a lot of her bullshit, because again, like I said, it's because now the signs are there, right? It's because now the signs are there that they're on the losing team. But listen to her now. That was then. She was groping the cardboard cutout of Donald Trump. To listen to her now.
I sent them to all these people. I got no response from Susie Wiles. None. And she's a mother and a grandmother and a woman. I got no response from James Blair because he only cares about making money on campaigns. I did hear from Kash Patel. He said on it, but I haven't heard from him since. I don't know what he's on. JD Vance was very nice to me, compassionate and kind, and reassured me that he would do everything we could to find out what's going on. And then I heard back from Donald Trump. And I've saved these text messages. I'd probably get put in jail if I released them publicly, but I saved them. Where Donald Trump proceeded to tell me that it was my fault and that I deserve it. If my son gets killed, I deserve it because I was a traitor to him. That is our president of the United States. That's the man that says MAGA is whatever he wants it to be.
My God, today. My God, today. My God, today. See, remember the clip I just showed y'all? She was just groping this man's cardboard cutout just a few years ago, right? And now she's upset because Donald Trump, the same man who made fun of disabled folks, who said combat soldiers, people who get injured or unalived in war are cowards for going to war, said all of these things. Surprised that he went after her and said that he didn't care about her son. And now she wants us to care about how she feels. Meanwhile, when she was in Congress, she was wreaking havoc. She put a target on Jasmine Crockett's back. She was one of the ringleaders talking about they was up there eating dogs in Minnesota. This woman wants us to care. Child, you better find somebody else to do it. You better find somebody else to do it. Like, seriously, you better find somebody else to do it. And listen, she not the only one. Okay, she not the only one, because y'all remember good old Megyn Kelly, who was talking about how not educated that Kamala Harris was, and that she wasn't that bright, and all these other things, right? Remember, she said all of that. Remember, she was like, oh, we must vote for Trump. We must do this. We must do that. We must do all of this, right? Like, we must have him in office and all of these things. Well, look at her ass now. Just watch her ass.
And that's been one of the main sticking points in actually having a ceasefire ever since. Israel at every turn turns to warlike behavior, more deaths of civilians. Look at the journalists who are being killed in Lebanon, not to mention the children who are getting bombed. Some of it is on.
Now she cares about journalism. Now she cares about journalists being killed, when she didn't care when she was on the state media, also known as Fox News, and they were pushing all types of propaganda, pushing all kind of lies, demanding to see Barack Obama's, not only his birth certificate, but his college transcript, okay? Calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe, going after Hunter Biden, saying he was working with terrorists and things and making all of this money. Meanwhile, Donald Trump just made $100 and something million in one night by playing with our soldiers' lives over there in the Strait of Hormuz. Mind you, we're in like day 63 of this war, and he is yet to go to Congress, even though he stated that the war was over. But come to find out, they're still bombing folks, okay? Iran just gave them a blicky yesterday and bombed like 3 different ships or whatever, when the U.S. was trying to escort some ships through the strait. And they said, no, not so fast. Not so much, homeboy. You have not did anything in the treaty. We can't trust you in the ceasefire. We can't trust you because we cannot trust is not real. Y'all know Israel is not real. We cannot trust them, because also Israel was also bombing Lebanon yesterday as well. Okay, the UAE got bombed and they said it was Iran, but Iran said it wasn't them. I can bet, who wants to bet that was actually is not real sending bombs over there? Okay, but you know who is making a deal with drones? Zelensky is now making has made a deal with Bahrain for their drones, something we should have did. But because Zelensky will not bow the knee, will not kiss the ring to this petulant child that we have in office, oh, he's so mad. No, because if he does a deal with Zelensky, that is going to also piss off his bigger master, Putin. Okay, but just take a listen.
On camera, and every time just says, oh, well, we tried not to. Well, I listened to that. I listened to that for a good year, 2 years. And now I see you doing it in location after location, and Lebanon and Beirut is starting to look like Gaza, and you're unapologetic about it, and you won't work with us. And you definitely goaded our president into this, though he has agency and is equally to blame. And now I'm sick of it, and I don't care. And I think Tucker doesn't care, and I think you don't care, and sane people don't care. Call me whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I've been called a bigot by the trans people. I've been called a racist by the BLMers. I've been called now an anti-Semite by you folks.
Yeah, it's the same tactic, isn't it?
I'm a truly disgusting person, or I just have political takes based on reality that are mainstream now.
But Megyn Kelly, you are a racist. You are a bigot. And you helped him get into office. You too, Piers Morgan. Because you use your platform to perpetuate certain things. So I don't want to hear this whole notion, oh, they can call me whatever they want. No, we can call you that. 2 things can be right at the same time. You guys helped this man get into office. And here's another one. Since we're on this road here, Here is another one. And he's terrified he's going to go to jail. Okay? He's terrified he's going to go to jail. You wouldn't have to be terrified of going to jail if your ass didn't do illegal things, right? Isn't that what they tell us all the time? Don't do illegal stuff and you won't go to jail, right? So here we go. Do we know who this is? This is Bongini, however you say his name. This is who this is. And he's terrified, out of his mind now. Just listen.
I will never be the same, and I'm being as serious as a stroke right now. I'm scared, man. I know what I did, and I'm proud of my work, and I'm proud of what me and Cash accomplished in the past year. Beyond proud. I know what we did. I know what's coming. I know what I started. I know what I laid out, and I know it's all, you saw a lot of these cases coming out over the past few days even. But don't think for a second that I don't think every day, and this is what's really sad, and this is why I know, and I never thought this after reading that enough Friday night, that they're going to come for me. Listen, man, it's not a sob story. I knew what I was getting into. But it happened to the president, and he went through just the worst just destruction of his civil liberties I've ever seen. But I say to my wife all the time, I know, Sean, I can look you in the face as a friend, tell you and your millions of viewers and listeners, I promise you everything I did with a dotted I and a crossed T. I brought in my own attorney from the outside, person I trusted, a wonderful, wonderful person. I said, no, everything is going to be by the book. Everything. I'm confident.
Everything is going to be by the book. Everything is going to be by the book when you're not giving people their due rights, their due process. Everything is going to be by the book when folks are not getting their due process, when you guys are drumming up charges, because this guy worked right closely with Kash Patel. They drummed up all those charges and tried to manipulate the grand jury to indict Letitia James and James Comey, even Don Lemon. All of these things are going to fire back at them, to come to find out they lied to the judge, knowingly lied to the judge. And he wants to say that in good conscience, because then if in good conscience and in good faith, you crossed every T and dot every I and curled every Q, then you would have no problem, right? You wouldn't be afraid, because you would know this is why James Comey is not afraid, because he knew he did nothing wrong. But why are you so afraid if you did everything by the letter of the law?
And that, you know what? It don't matter. They'll rewrite the book, just like they did for President Trump. And I said to my wife, I said, I got a 14-year-old. The presidency could change. I hope it doesn't in a little over 2 years. You don't think on election night, if we lose, it's not going through my head, like they're going to send some thugs to my house? I was never the same after that, because after reading what I read about how many people did this to President Trump, this Russia hoax, collusion, crossfire hurricane bullshit, and not a single person stopped them, I'm terrified they're just not going to do the right thing when they're in charge. We did the right. I can tell you right now, like there have been cases that were brought to us by field agents, by the way. The White House never called us invest. That's all bullshit. Like if they don't, what do you think? They're stupid? They stay out of that stuff. They let us do the law enforcement stuff. There have been cases against public figures and stuff.
The White House stays out of that stuff. When Donald Trump takes his little Twitter fingers and goes over there to Truth Social and he keyboards what he wants him to do. Remember what he had sent Pam Bondi, and he thought he was sending in a text message, and it actually came out on Truth Social, what he wanted her to do and who he wanted her to go after? Save me the bullshit. I hope they lock all their asses up.
Where they just filter up through tips and stuff. And even though it would have been a big Twitter thing if we didn't do it. Like there's one specific case, I can't get it deep, but it made a lot of news. It was a huge arrest. It was a coast to coast thing, involved mob figures and things like that. Do you have any idea how many more people we could have arrested on that case? And you know what? It wasn't a good use of FBI assets. And it wasn't about Twitter hits or anything like that. I can't tell you with a straight face, when these people get in charge, these hooligans that were in charge of the other side, that they're not going to throw us all in jail for felonious mopery on the open seas. Like, what's that? I don't know. They made it up. Like, they will. And I know I wouldn't do that.
I'm trying to take this in. I've known you a long
Child, please. He's talking about he's afraid for his life. Well, if you were afraid for your life, you should have thought about that beforehand. Meanwhile, okay? Meanwhile, Meanwhile, I just want you to hear this thing. Meanwhile, this is the bullshit that's going on. Okay. Meanwhile, they're saying they're doing everything by the letter of the law, but then we have this.
I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself. And this way, when I get out of office in, let's say, 8 or 9 years from now, I'll be able to use it. I'll be able to use it myself.
So we know one thing for sure. Donald Trump always says the quiet part out loud. He says he won't leave the office for 8 or 9 years from now. So he's planning on staying for office, but this isn't rewriting the law. Per Bongino, what we just saw, we do everything ethical. This isn't ethical. The Constitution has not changed. Every president has 2 terms, whether it's consecutive or not. 2 terms, because if that's the case, we would still have Barack Obama in office. Okay? 2 terms. Can y'all imagine him staying in office? Thank you, Buki. Good morning. Could y'all imagine him staying in office for 8 or 9 more years? I'm telling y'all right now, I'm looking at avenues to have dual citizenship, okay? And getting me and my beautiful black son up out of here. Okay? Because I mean, one of my long-term goals is also being able to practice law in London. So, you know, I'm already planning. And I advise any and everybody to plan too. And it don't matter your race, okay? And it don't matter your gender. But hey, Mika, I'm looking at ways to get the hell up out of here. Ways where the quality of life is better than this. Okay, because y'all gotta be joking with this bullshit. Y'all really have to be joking. And then furthermore, follow me down this hole now. Furthermore, this man talks about wiping out all employment. All employment, not unemployment, but employment. Like, just listen. Just listen. Just take a listen.
And, you know, I could, with one swipe of the pen, I could say, let's have no employment, and I'll hire 1 million people or 2.
No employment with the swipe. Let's play that again. With the swipe of a pen, he could have wipe out all employment. And this is where, you know, dementia has set in and his cognitive skills have declined, because is he reading it correctly? Is it supposed to say I can wipe out all unemployment? Or in his mind, he really wants to wipe out employment, right? And make us all slaves.
Jobs. And, you know, I could, with one swipe of the pen, I could say, let's have no employment, and I'll hire 1 million people or 2 million people. I say, we just hired 1 million people and we have absolutely no employment. And that's what they would do.
And we would have absolutely no employment. Wait a minute. What? Is he okay? Wait a minute. Wait. Did y'all hear what I just heard? Let's start this over. Hold on.
Jobs. And, you know, I could, with one swipe of the pen, I could say, let's have no employment.
With one swipe of the pen, let's have no employment. Okay.
And I'll hire 1 million people or 2.
Then I'll hire 1 million people or 2 million people.
2 million people. I say, we just hired 1 million people
and we just hired 1 million people. I could then say we just hired 1 million people. Y'all see how this doesn't make sense? But okay.
We have absolutely no employment. And that's what they would do. They'd have bad numbers coming up, so they'd hire a couple of 100,000 people, and the numbers would look okay. With me, it's the exact opposite. We terminate a lot of federal jobs that are unnecessary, and they don't like me for doing it, but a year later they like me.
We terminate federal jobs that are unnecessary, yet when they go to court, they have to reinstate these folks because they are necessary, right? The federal jobs that you've been getting rid of, right, are indeed necessary. You don't have enough people working in the IRS, which the IRS is a separate entity than the government. But you you dismantle the Department of Education so nobody is overseeing what is happening to our children who have IEPs and disabilities and things of that nature. You can't even afford to pay teachers. You're trying to dismantle their unions. Because what they want to do is they want to put everybody on a voucher system so their friends can open up schools where you have to use their vouchers. You have to use the vouchers to get in, and the rich people can monopolize the voucher system by buying vouchers so they can send their children where they want to go. And while we're running for scraps, go ahead.
Because they end up having a much better job, oftentimes in a place where they'd much rather live. You know, they go to the place that they want to go. They're not stuck in Washington or someplace else.
And for the record, I know plenty of people. I have family members that work in Washington, D.C., and they absolutely, good morning, Barn Dog, they absolutely love DC. DC is beautiful. DC is a melting pot. DC is not that far away from New York, not that far away from Philly, not that far away, Virginia Beach. You've got Charlotte, North Carolina, you got Atlanta, and you got Miami. It's not that far on a plane ride on the East Coast. This man has lost his ever-loving mind, y'all. He said, wipe out employment. That's what he said. He said, wipe out employment, okay? Wipe out employment. I mean, wipe it out. That's what he said. And this is the same guy. Guys, take a look. Just take a look. They want to believe in this man and put him in charge when this man can't even walk in a straight line. So no wonder he's up there talking about doing away with employment and all this other stuff. Just take a look at this bullshit. Just look at it. Just take a look. Doesn't he look like a wayward, wandering, lost child, where he's just like wondering, like I'm wandering in a field full of daisies and sunflowers? Okay. Just look at him like, where are you going, sir? Where are you going? Where are you going? And we've seen this a million times. We've seen Barack Obama. We've seen Joe Biden. We've seen Bush Jr., we've seen W do it. We have seen Bill Clinton do it. We have seen plenty of people in our lifetime get off of the goddamn helicopter and walk in a straight line back to the White House. Okay? But this man here, let's go back. Let me take the sound off. Look at him. He veers off. He pulls up his pants. The tie is flapping in the wind. He takes a yarn and he's leaning back to the right. And then he goes back to the left. And he waves. And then his tie is still blowing in the wind. And he kind of looks down and he looks back up. And he says hi. And he does this little hand motion. And he's way over here to the left now. And now he's talking to people and he's giving them the fist. Like, what the in hell is going on? Well, Mika, I would much rather a fallen president than a president who fails us every day. Because at least with the fallen president, we could sleep at night. At least with the fallen president, our groceries were a lot cheaper. At least with the fallen president, we knew that our children, especially those with disabilities, were a lot safer. At least with the fallen president, baby, our air was a lot cleaner. At least with the fallen president, we didn't have to worry about Iran thinking about, chemical warfare or, cyber warfare. Yeah. So yeah, he did fall a lot. But damn it, y'all can't tell me this man ain't falling either. Matter of fact, this man can't even get up. Y'all saw him at the White House, what's the name? correspondence dinner when he claimed he didn't fall on the ground, and we clearly could see him fall on the ground. Listen, I would have took Joe Biden hooked up to a doggone respirator over this guy right here. I'm telling you, I would have picked him on a respirator. I'm just saying, I would have picked him. Girl, diapers, not only diapers, they say he got a catheter, but you also know his niece said that he poops on himself. And he ain't never came out to sue her because she's right. Mary Trump, y'all need to go see her. She's on YouTube. Go see her YouTube page. She talks about all of this. I've been watching her for years. She talks about all of the family dirty deeds. She just does. And while we're at it, of the creepy things that this man does, y'all, come on. Who is his PR person? Who is this man's PR person? Because this man has 16-year-olds from a high school band dancing only in front of him down at Mar-a-Lago. Child, y'all look at this. Look at this. I just want y'all to look at this. Look at this here. Okay. First of all, this is not the most unseasoned band I've ever seen in my life. If this is not the most unseasoned chicken cutlet I've ever seen in my life, because those of y'all that have ever attended an HBCU or been to some games of an HBCU, anything like that, know that this ain't the move. Okay. But whatever. And as a parent, would you be comfortable with your child in a band going to, we know, the predator in chief, Mar-a-Lago, and performing in front of him? Where we know he has said that at his Miss America pageants, he would go back there and inspect them because he could. Meaning back there while they're dressing. And if anybody has ever been in pageants, you're naked like a lot because you're changing garments, things like that. It's kind of like just like in a fashion show, you're back there with minimal clothing on because people are dressing you, changing you. You can't really touch yourself. You have to like stand there, because they're dressing you to make sure you don't stain anything, rip anything, and it's for speed, right? How many parents would feel comfortable sending a child, hey, Emily, sending a child to go perform for this? And look at him. Child, I know you lying to me. I know you lying to me. Hey, Room Shaker. Hey, Ebony IE. I know y'all lying to me. You think I'm gonna send my child here to go dance in front of the look at this. Just look. Just look. You just can't make this shit up. Hey, Room Shaker. You can't make this up. And all the McDonald's ain't doing him that great neither. All the McDonald's is not doing him that great. Don't believe in the hype where he eating McDonald's every day. Like, I know this man's bill of health is horrible and is in the trash can. Like, ain't nobody, and I'm looking at these parents like, parents, why y'all okay in this field trip? Like, why are y'all okay in this field trip? Why? Why are y'all okay in this field trip? I am trying to understand this. If my child is in band and they talking about, oh, we going to Mar-a-Lago, mine ain't. Mara who? Y'all can Mar and go yourself, but this one ain't going. Okay, we not going there. He ain't laying no. So he can pick who gonna be their next massage therapists to send them to massage school so they can massage them nasty men, because that's what Epstein was. That's what Epstein was doing. They was preying on these kids at them very age. Are we okay? Are we okay? But you know, MAGA is not okay. Okay. MAGA is not okay. Baby, MAGA, Republicans against Trump, they done spent money upset, but I don't even have any sympathy for them, because the reason why I don't have no sympathy for them, because you helped vote this in, and we tried to tell you this was what was going to happen, but no, you could not listen to anybody. So now the Republicans against Trump have now came out with a campaign ad that is 1 minute and 45 seconds long, because MAGA's gas is too high, MAGA's groceries are too high, MAGA is now losing their insurance coverage, or their premiums are so high they don't know what to do. MAGA is how homes are being foreclosed on. They cannot afford their car payments. Okay, they're maxing out their credit cards. They cannot do anything. Childcare is through the roof. You hear what I'm saying? Like, they can't. Mima and Papa cannot afford their medicine. Alcohol, beer is expensive. They're losing their SNAP benefits. Okay, their Medicare and Medicaid coverage is being cut in half in some places. Like, they just can't take it no more. So now, you know, the Iran war has really pushed them over the edge. So now they put a full-fledged campaign out. And guess what? Jimmy Crack Corn, and I don't give a damn.
I am not MAGA. I am the person who existed before.
I am not the MAGA identity.
My name is Tom. I was MAGA for 10 years. And now I'm here.
And when you say in, what does that mean to you?
16 hours a day, phone, TV, gave money I didn't have, thousands.
I was so angry of all the wokeness, tired of being told I was the problem. And I fell for the bullshitter. At least he was angry too.
The version of you that was inside MAGA, it's not who you are. The authentic self is still here.
We're gonna bring him or her back into the circle.
I really thought he was gonna make things better. I'm broke as fuck. Everything is expensive.
Before the hat, before the rallies, you're somewhere safe. What do you smell?
My mother's kitchen.
I voted because my friends did, that's it.
I almost went to Washington that day.
I don't recognize myself anymore.
My family stopped talking to me.
My grandchildren will read about what we did. I want them to know I knew.
I was wrong. I hope you can forgive me.
I'm sorry for the pain I caused.
I hope we can start over.
I'm so sorry.
You were right about everything.
It was terrifying to walk away.
But for the first time in years,
I finally have my mind back.
You don't have to do this alone, son.
You don't have to do this alone, Mom.
I finally have my mind back. You don't have to do this alone. I'm so sorry for the pain that I caused. I spent money I did not have. I watched TV for 16 hours. I watched Fox News for 16 hours a day. You made phone calls. You lost friends. You helped get people locked up in ICE. And now you're upset because, as the young man stated, he's broke as fuck. Child, listen, congratulations. Welcome to reality. Okay? That's about the only thing that I'm going to say. Welcome to reality. But other than that, Jimmy Crack Corner, I don't care, because see, we tried to tell you that this was going to happen. We tried to tell you that these policies and these ideas concepts of ideas was not going to benefit you. But because your racism was so alarming and was fueling your vote, that it blindsided all of like any type of common sense that you actually had, you know, knowing 1 + 1 is actually 2. But these folks were telling us, no, it's actually 3. And here's how we're going to tell you it can be 3. Okay. This man said, we're going to dismantle the Affordable Care Act because we've got concepts of a plan for healthcare. I just got one question. Anybody in the chat, can you tell me any type of plan that he has put forth for healthcare at all yet? Any type of plan? Any type of plan of healthcare he has put together yet? Any type of plan has he had to lower your grocery prices? Because the last time I checked, $100 may get you a few meals, and that few meals may be 2. Okay. Can y'all tell me if your gas prices? I need to know wherever you live at. I see the people that live on the East Coast in here. I see people that live in the South on here. I know that there's people on the West Coast that are in here. Please tell me, has your gas prices went down when you drove this morning to go to work? And say if you're driving an electrical vehicle, when you saw the gas this morning, did the gas prices go down? Or better yet, let me ask you something different. What about your electricity bill in your home? What have you seen it do over the past just 60 days? Let's just take a 60-day, okay? Bingo, right here. My son-in-law couldn't go to work yesterday because he didn't have gas or the money to put in his car. This is real. This is reality. Okay. This is reality for people. People are having to choose between, and this is why the work at home, it wasn't so bad, right? Working from home wasn't so bad, but they wanted to force everybody back into the office. They wanted to force everybody back in the office because they had all of these office buildings that they were paying for and all of that furniture that they had purchased and all that equipment that they were paying for. And they wanted to put everybody back home, back in the office, where they could have let people choose maybe more of a hybrid schedule where they went in 2 days a week or something like that. Matter of fact, you could actually raise the minimum wage. Okay. You could actually raise the minimum wage so that it's a living wage and stop giving these tax credits to companies for hiring people who are receiving food stamps, because that's how they're double dipping. They're paying you less so that you have to be on food stamps, so that not only they're not paying you what you're worth, but they're also getting a tax break for hiring people who are getting some type of government assistance. Okay, so if you lower the cost of food, you lowered the cost of gas, and if you raised minimum wage to a living wage, because a living wage would be about $32 an hour. If you put some type of rent control in place, do away with this whole credit system, because the credit system is a scam. Because you know what? Go over there to Europe, go to Africa, go to the UAE. They don't use a credit system. Okay, what they use is you go over there to Europe, you go to London and buy a home, right? Because that's one of my places I have my eyes on. You go to London, you go to Portugal. Okay, you go to, let's even say Bali is a beautiful place for Black people to live, right? You go there. But we're going to go back to London. London only requires you to have 20 to 30% of the cost of the house that you're going to buy. They're not running a credit check. They're not doing any of that. If you can hand them a check, 30%, 20 to 30% of that house, the cost of that house, right? You get keys and a deed. We're the only system that perpetuates people to be in debt, slave to their debt. Also, most of their kids go to college for free, or either They go to college for like a small portion of what our children go to college for. Right now, y'all know I'm an aspiring lawyer. Do you know that's a $130,000 degree? Mhm. Look at this. My friend just moved to Spain a couple months ago, and she said her and her family afford monthly expenses is $2,300. She didn't say just the rent was $2,300. She said her monthly expenses are $2,300. I have a friend right now that lives in Costa Rica. She's got 2 Airbnbs out there, okay? And they get cleaned. She gets fresh food. She lives on the beach, and her expenses, all of her expenses are about $1,000 a month. Okay. I know I have another friend that has moved to Bali. They moved to Bali. They have a maid, they have a chef, they have a driver. Okay. They have a nanny. They even have a pool in that backyard. And her total expenses are about $1,500 a month. This is fresh food, free healthcare. Their kids are going to school with a great education. There's breathing fresh air. It's very diverse there, and they don't have to worry about racism at the alarming rate that America does, because America was founded upon racism. Okay. See, America has a problem, and America needs to admit the problem that they are inherently racist, that they are the king and queens of racism. And once they acknowledge that and understand that the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all of that, all of our rules and regulation, even down how you get loans for your homes, for your cars, for businesses, why HOAs were even created. HOAs were created to keep Black folk out of communities. The LSAT, the bar, the SAT, the ACT was created to prevent Blacks and Browns from going to school. This is why HBCUs became about to give us a fair shot at having a higher education. Do you guys understand this? Until they dismantle those type of policies, right? Until they dismantle the very laws that we have to abide by and rewrite them from an inclusive perspective. America is going to be what America is. And I'm going to say it, and people may not like it, but America deserves Donald Trump and the administration that they have, because they are not inclusive. They want to be separate, not equal. They want to be superior, and they want to be able to control and demonize folks that don't look like them while using our talents to help push ideas. That's it. Because if you took away everything that the Black person has invented, this country could not operate. There would be no stoplight. There would be no Siri. There would be no GPS. There would be no internet. There would be no stove. There would be no AC. It would be no curling irons, no flat irons, no blow dryers. It would be no refrigerators. It wouldn't be no cars moving around out here. Okay. It would be no electricity. It would be no Amtrak. It would be none of that. And they would be stuck like Chuck in a blackout. The only thing they would have is the sunlight every day. That's it. And that's all. I'm just calling a thing a thing. And people need to understand this is what it is. And I'm going to leave you with this note. I want you to hear from one of the best political minds we have. His name is James Carville. He is the one that ushered in Bill Clinton. And he used the statement, "Is the economy stupid?" But he is thinking and saying everything that I want to say about Donald J. Trump. Okay. And I'm going to leave you with this here. He is right. And it's about time people start saying this. And yes, it's vulgar, it's provocative. But sometimes being vulgar and provocative is what you got to hear.
She says, James, our friends and I love it when you talk nasty about Trump. Just use all the language you can. But she says, you know what? When I see his face, it reminds me of the backside of my husband's scrotum. Yeah, that's what it is. You look like the backside of a nutsack. That's what you are, Trump. No wonder Lindsey Graham's always trying to lick your face. But my point here is these people, and they were coming up to me, didn't matter, black women, white women, elegant women, everything that you can imagine. And almost to a person, they said, you keep calling him nasty names because that's what he deserves. And that's who he is. And that's what he deserves. And we're going to keep calling him. And your new name, dude, is Scrotum Face. Because that's what you are, Scrotum Face. And she says, James, our friends and I love it when you talk